Your feed is screaming one thing: new. New countries, new hidden gems, new beaches that look suspiciously identical. Everyone's collecting destinations like trophies. But you're about to book the same place again. Same town, same hotel, same street, same coffee spot where the barista already knows your order by day 2. Same corner store with the only water that doesn't taste like a swimming pool. Same shortcut that saves 7 minutes and your patience. And people look at you like you've given up. Bro, you've been there already. Why not go somewhere new? But that's the wrong question. The real question is, why do some guys chase novelty like it's status, while other guys keep returning to one place like it's a reset button? Because repeat travel isn't a lack of adventure. It's a tell. It's your psychology leaving fingerprints on your passport. And once you understand what's happening in your brain, you'll realize you're not failing at adventure. You're optimizing your nervous system. So stick with me, because by the end of this, you'll know exactly which type of repeat traveler you are and why that one city keeps calling you back. We live in a culture addicted to the new. New places, new restaurants, new itineraries. People talk about travel like it's a personality test. And sure, exploring is amazing, but repeat travelers ignore the pressure. They don't want 10 options. They want one option that hits. They know the streets, the rhythm, the smells, the morning light in that specific window. They can land at the airport and their body goes, yes, this. We know this. Before anyone judges them, understand this. Going back isn't being stuck. It's a strategy. Let me break down the 4 types of people who travel to the same places and what they're really trying to get from the world. Type 1, the reset button, also known as the comfort seeker. This person doesn't return because they lack imagination. They return because life is chaotic. Work is unpredictable. People are unpredictable. The news is unpredictable. Your phone is basically a slot machine that sometimes gives you stress for free. So their brain does something smart. It seeks a controlled environment. A familiar destination is predictability you can touch. You already know how the week will feel. You know the airport route. You know where to park. You know that the room smells a certain way. You know what the first morning coffee tastes like. And that certainty is not small. It's emotional safety. Because when you go somewhere new, your brain is scanning constantly. Where am I? Is this safe? Am I missing something? What's the local scam? Why is everyone walking fast? Did I just insult someone by ordering wrong? But when you go back to the same place, your brain unhooks its claws. You're not doing survival mode travel. You're doing recovery travel. For this type, the destination becomes a psychological home base, a place where nothing is trying to impress them. It's just there, waiting, reliable. It's basically a weighted blanket you can fly to. Type 2, the decision detoxer. This is the cognitive restorer. These people are not tired in the normal way. They are decision tired. They have already made 7,000 choices today. What to eat, what to say, what to ignore, what to pretend you saw in Slack, which email to answer first so nobody thinks you died. And then travel planning shows up like, choose a country, choose a city, choose a neighborhood, choose a hotel, choose a vibe, choose if you are a museum person now, choose between 46 restaurants with identical chairs. It's exhausting. So repeat travel is cognitive cruise control. Same destination means fewer choices, less mental friction, less risk. You already know the map. You already know how long it takes to get from A to B. You already know the one restaurant that never disappoints. And the big secret? A familiar trip feels longer and fuller because you spend less time managing the trip. You're not constantly orienting. You're actually living. New places demand attention. Familiar places give attention back. For the decision detox traveler, returning is not laziness. It's efficiency. Why gamble your limited vacation energy on an unknown Airbnb that looks cute online but in real life has a mattress made of sadness, when you can go back to the place that you already know works? Zero risk, maximum peace. Type 3, the identity locker. This is the nostalgic anchor, but upgraded. For this type, the destination is not just a location, it's a time capsule. Maybe it's the city where they fell in love, the beach where they finally felt calm for the first time in years, the mountain town where they had that one perfect week when their life made sense. And the place becomes a shortcut back to a version of themselves. They go back and suddenly their body remembers. The air, the light, the way evenings felt, the person they were when they first stood there. This is emotional time travel, but with luggage. And it's not always happy nostalgia. Sometimes it's grief. Sometimes it's longing. Sometimes it's keeping a memory alive. You might return because someone you loved is attached to that place, and going back is how you keep them close, without saying it out loud. And yes, sometimes it's spite travel. The relationship ended, but the city is still yours. The point is, the destination becomes a story you can re-enter. And when life changes too fast, stories are stabilizing. So they return, not because they forgot what it looked like, but because they don't want to forget what it felt like. Type 4, the Mastery Traveler. Also known as the Detail Hunter. These people return to the same destination the way some people reread a book. Not because there's nothing else to do, but because the place has depth. The first visit is surface level. You hit the famous spots. You take the photos. You do the obvious. The second visit is different. You start noticing patterns. The third visit is where it gets weird, in the best way. You stop consuming the place, and you start understanding it. You learn the rhythms. You notice how locals move differently on different days. You find the quiet streets that nobody posts. You have a favorite table, a favorite morning, a favorite hour. And every time you return, the destination reveals a new layer. Not because the destination changed, but because you did. You're not going back to the same place. You're going back as a different person. So you unlock different experiences from the same environment. In psychology terms, familiarity increases attachment. The more you know a place, the more it feels like it belongs to your identity. For the layer collector, travel is not about collecting pins on a map. It's about deepening. They don't want 10 countries they barely touched. They want one place they truly know. Now here's what all 4 types have in common. Repeat travel isn't the absence of adventure. It's the presence of a specific need. The reset button is regulating stress. The decision detoxer is protecting mental energy. The identity locker is protecting meaning and self-image. The mastery traveler is chasing depth and competence. And honestly, a lot of people who chase constant novelty are doing the same thing. Because novelty can be an escape too. A way to outrun stillness long enough to not feel your actual life. So let's not pretend one approach is superior. The world needs explorers, and the world needs returners. Also, there's a 5th invisible force behind repeat travel, and it's brutal. The fantasy of the perfect trip. When you've had one incredible vacation somewhere, your brain records it like a highlight reel. And then the brain does what it always does. It tries to recreate the feeling. Not the hotel, not the itinerary, the feeling. So you return because you think, maybe I can get back to that version of peace again. And here's the twist. Sometimes you do. Sometimes you don't. Because you can't step into the same river twice. But you still go back because the attempt itself is comforting. It's hope with a boarding pass. So the next time someone judges you for going back to the same place, hit them with the truth. You're not boring. You're not stuck. You're not afraid of the world. You're choosing what your mind and body actually need. Sometimes the best trip isn't the newest destination. It's the one that makes you feel like yourself again. And if you think about it, returning to the same place might actually be one of the healthiest forms of travel, because it means you found somewhere that works. So which one are you? The reset button, the decision detoxer, the identity locker, or the mastery traveler? Drop a comment and tell me your place. The one destination you'd go back to again and again. No explanation needed. And if this made you see your travel habits differently, subscribe. Because once you understand the psychology behind what you do, you stop judging yourself. And you start using your brain like it's on your team. And let's get practical for a second. Repeat travel can actually make you happier because it removes the pressure to perform. When you go somewhere new, there's this invisible checklist in your head. Did I do enough? Did I see enough? Did I optimize enough? Did I choose right? But when you return to a familiar place, you're not proving anything. You're not competing with the internet. You can skip things. You can rest. You can have a boring day on purpose. You can sit in the same cafe for 2 hours and do nothing, and it still counts as travel. Because for repeat travelers, the goal isn't content, it's restoration. And if you want to know why people replay the same games over and over, I've got a video on that. Watch it next.